Lack of finances is also a reason why children go into juvenile delinquency. When children have to be cajoled, when they are deceived of the gains of some delinquent acts, please, the situation might not be friendly. Let's do all we can to provide the needs of our children. Above all, let's teach them contentment. When our children are contented, they can't be easily drawn by promise of reward outside, and they will be able to stay clear and make good decisions when they are being tempted by their peers and their friends. Now, another point I said, need for attention. Some children need attention and they can do just about anything to get your attention. They know that when they are arrested, that busy schedule that you claim to be running would have to be put on hold for you to go and attend to them. Please don't let our children get to that level. Let's give them the attention that they deserve. Let's not wait until they get into acts that will force us to pay attention to them. Peer pressure and undue parental pressure. Peer pressure, I said earlier, so that our children will not be tempted by their friends and peers. That is negative peer pressure would result into juvenile delinquency. Who are the friends our children mix with? Let's help our children to stay above negative peer pressure. Let's empower them. Ensure that their self-esteem is intact so they can hold up their head and make personal decisions and not always want to flow with their friends, so that they can have a mind of their own. Focus on it and help your children build good self-esteem. I put here parental pressure. Some parents will say the person coming first in your class, but the person have two heads. That's an example of some of the parental pressures that we put on our children. Every profession has its own share of poor people. Forcing your children to study certain careers so that they can be successful in life is not ideal. This will sometimes put your children under unnecessary pressure that can make them engage in juvenile acts. So let's desist from doing that. Reaction to prolonged abuse, either verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. When children over time have been subjected to abuse of any kind, they can begin to behave in any kind of way. They are traumatized, and this can give room to them being led into delinquent acts. They themselves might seek delinquent acts in order to express themselves, vent their anger, and lose their emotions and things like that. Recently, I was talking somewhere. I said the boy or the girl that is bullying another child needs help. A child bullying another child means that child needs help. That child's self-esteem is very low. That's why the child is resorting to bullying. That child has a need for attention. That is the reason why that child is engaging in bullying. So we must ensure that we protect our children from all forms of abuse so that it does not push them into engaging in delinquent acts. Another point is death of a loved one. Many times when death occurs in the family, we don't pay enough attention to children. We don't seem to pay enough attention to them. They have to develop stress most times by themselves to overcome the pain the loss has brought to them. This can make them engage in juvenile acts. Please, when death occurs in the family, intentionally pay attention to the children and help them to understand the grief, the trauma, the stress, the absence of a loved one will bring into their lives. I wrote again, comparison with peers or siblings. Many of us parents, or let me say some of us parents, would compare our children to other children, either other their siblings or our friends' children. It is not ideal. Every child has the inherent ability to do right, to succeed. So please focus on your children particularly and stop comparing them. I'm sure we as parents would not like our children to compare us with other parents that they know. So please, let's desist from doing that. It tears them down and they can lash out by getting into all kinds of negative things, all kinds of delinquent acts. So please, let's help our children by ensuring we don't compare them. Let's focus on their inherent ability and help them to discover themselves so that they can be best at what they are doing. Then I said difficulty with studies. This is very crucial for our children when they are finding difficulty in any subject. Most times now, whether maths or English, whatever the subjects may be, let's follow through with our children. Help them get extra attention on the subjects they are finding difficult, and then create an enabling environment for them. When your children are writing their homework, it's not the time to send them errands. It's not the time for you to come into the sitting room where they are writing their homework and switch on the television and be enjoying your Z World or African Magic or any other channel as the case may be. Allow your children concentrate. Help them to get better. Buy them books. Encourage them. Motivate them and let them get better, because usually students that have failing grades are more at other people's mercy and are more likely to get into delinquent acts with other people. Now, what are the warning signs? How would you know if your child is engaged in one form of juvenile delinquent act or the other? Aggression. Your child that hitherto has been gentle, your child that hitherto has been amiable, your child that hitherto has been obedient, just becomes aggressive, maybe with his younger ones or with the neighbors. You must pay attention. What is the reason for this aggression? You must get to the roots of this aggression. So aggression is number one telltale sign that your child is getting involved in juvenile acts. Now, violent behavior. This is closely related to the aggression. When the aggression starts, then their behavior might become violent. You might talk to them, they might shout back at you, they might hit on their siblings or their neighbors or classmates and things like that. You need to get to the bottom of it. Cruelty towards animals. They might just want to kill toads for killing sake. They are not going to eat them, or frogs, around insects that are in secluded places that are not disturbing anybody. They just kill them and they find joy in doing that. Such children can already be engaging in juvenile acts. You need to watch it and help them. Then I put damaging property when angry. Some children will get angry. You hear parents talk about how their children vent anger, how they break things and destroy things. This should not be allowed. This should be paid proper attention. Children should be made to get out of that kind of situation. Even adults cannot, it's not, anger should not be tolerated at any level. So when your children have uncontrolled display of anger, watch it. It might be a telltale sign that they're already engaging in juvenile acts. Said withdrawal from sibling and friends. Usually when our teenagers begin to grow, they want their own space, they want their own individuality and all that. Sometimes they stay more in their rooms, sometimes they just want to be with their friends. It might be harmless, it might just be a developmental stage of their life. But on the other hand, it might also be pointing attention to a particular direction, the direction of juvenile delinquency. So we need to be very observant, we need to pay attention. Inability to cope with social norms. When your child is not able to cope with any form of social norms, respect your elders, greet, and all kinds of do your house chores, let's pray together, family time, and things like that. When a child finds it difficult to blend in the society, in the home, in the family, in the school, is just unruly, just has his own way, he wants his things done and things like that, he could be telling you, he could be pointing to a greater problem in your hands. Now, failing grades. A child has hitherto been doing well, just all of a sudden begins to fail. There was a storybook I read. That storybook is close to my heart. I've forgotten the title now. But there was this student, a very bright student, doing well. All of a sudden, he got mixed up with another student in class, and then he began to fail. This was a student that would take almost all the gifts on the prize and speech giving day, and then all of a sudden, he began to fail. It was as a result of his relationship with another student who was a juvenile, a juvenile delinquent. And that child, the juvenile delinquent guy, was from a broken family unit. So you can see all these things outside. Then another thing is fascination with weapons. Your child, girl, boy, just takes scissors, just takes a knife, is fascinated, cleaning it, being interested in it, wants it to be around him and stuff like that. You need to watch it. this or more of these signs, one or more, two, three or more, could be pointing you in the direction of juvenile delinquency. Your child misses school. He's set for school from the house. Instead of getting to the school, then he goes somewhere else. You need to investigate and find out where your child is going. Carrying a weapon. The child might begin to carry a weapon that you did not buy for him, weapon that you don't know where he got it from, weapon that he's not supposed to carry. When this begins to happen, you know there's a problem on your hands. What these signs or more could be pointing, and then all of these signs, if you are paying attention, if it is not juvenile delinquency, then it's something you should try and help your children to stop. Juvenile delinquency is a result of several symptoms, I've mentioned some of them, which occur in different phases of the lives of children and teenagers. If its causes are checked early enough in life, then any form of deviant behavior can be stopped. If you notice early enough, remember, we still say early detection will always make sure that the disease can be curbed. Early detection. So even in this case of juvenile delinquency, we need early detection. Please, parents, play your part and ensure that you are focused on the way your children are behaving, on the way they are reacting to things around you. Juvenile delinquency is a grievous crime, is a grievous challenge for the society of today. Play your part. Thank you.